I'm going to hit record before I forget because I have a tendency to do that. So real quick, I just want to see where we are. I know all the familiar faces. You might not know all the familiar faces. So if we could do a quick round robin, I will just call you out the way you are on my screen, who you are, where you are, so that we can all get a sense of that. And Susan, your hair is getting much longer. If you could share who you are and where you are so we can get your introduction.
And maybe whether you're a facilitator in training, a level 2, all that kind of little small bio.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Susan DeGaia, and I am in Fraser Park, California. I'm a level 1 facilitator, and I need a haircut.
I like it, Susan. I thought you were intentionally growing it out. I think it looks lovely.
Absolutely.
Donna, you are up next on my screen. Would you please share?
Yes, good morning. My name is Donna, and I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and I just started Facilitator 1 training. So yes, I'm enjoying it already, trying to get up to speed. So that's where I am. Nice to meet all of you.
Excellent. Thank you, Donna. Sheila, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Sheila, and I am in the Western Mountains of Maine. I just completed the facilitator training, and I'm working on my last 2 CEs right now. So I'm very excited, very excited. And I already started speaking to some of the community members around to find out how to get the first class launched. So I'm excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. Renee, you're up next on my screen.
I need a haircut and a hair dryer, so I apologize for wet hair. My name is Renee Athley, and I'm temporarily, at least in the mountains in Utah, and I just am starting into the facilitator training. And recognize a couple faces, and happy to be here.
Renee, can you say where in Utah again? I missed it.
I'm in between Park City and Sundance, Utah, so I'm on the Wasatch Back. If people are familiar with, I'm about an hour from Salt Lake City, but up behind the mountains and up in that area.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Kristen, you are on my screen next.
Sorry, I was muted. Hey, Kristen Norton. I'm here in Atlanta, and I just finished my facilitator training with Sheila, and I think I've done all my assignments, hopefully. So just trying to figure out what to do next.
Cool. Thank you. Charlie, you're up next on my screen.
Oh, hey, how is everybody?
Hey, Charlie.
What am I supposed to do, Jennifer?
Your name, where you're located, and where you are at, like, facilitator level 1, working on level 2, that kind of thing.
Okay, Charlie Barker, Dallas Fort Worth, and I'm actually in a level 2 facilitator training course, just started yesterday. Excited about that. And Connolly, who should be joining us shortly, my better half, we've got a course coming up in February.
Excellent. Thank you. Anya. You're muted, Anya.
Hi, everybody. I'm calling from Berlin. My name is Anya. I'm sitting in the hallway of one of Berlin's universities and hope that my personal hotspot stays for 1 hour because I couldn't get access in university's internet. I'm level 1 facilitator.
Thanks, Anya. Shane, you're up next on my screen.
Hey folks, how's it going? Happy New Year. I'm all over the shop really, but I'm physically here in Madrid. So I'm 1 hour away from Anya, but her sky looks a lot darker than mine. We're not too far away, but it's different skies. I'm currently doing the level 2 training. So Inaki is on the other. I can see her photograph here. So I'm actually just looking through her CEs, which are great. They're really exciting. Some good videos. I'm learning a lot from.
Thank you.
And for those who don't know, Shane's also our education sector lead. So he's been working on, and we're actually, he may not know it, but we're going to give him a little time to give a quick update in a little while.
Nothing like putting people on the spot.
Always.
Sue, you're up next on my list.
Hey, I was a couple minutes late, so what are we doing? Name, place, serial number?
Yeah, name, rank, and serial number. Yeah. No, your name, where you're located, and where you are in the process. You're obviously a level 1, and if you've got any courses coming up.
Yeah, I am in Atlanta, and right this minute, no, nothing coming up. Just did one about a month ago, I think it was, right before Christmas. I've lost my time over the holidays. At the Atlanta Shambhala Center, about 15 people. That was great. And yes, I am level 1.
Cool. Thank you. Marilyn, you're up on my screen next.
I'm always so surprised that our screens are so different.
Yeah.
I'm Marilyn Turkovich, and I'm with the Charter for Compassion. I live on a small island between Canada and the US, about 40 minutes ride from Seattle, Washington. And I'm level 2 training. So I feel like my life is CIT between teaching one of the current courses and doing level 2 observation, and just our constant meetings with trying to see what the next steps are. My calendar's filled with CIT.
We have that in common, Marilyn. It's
I
crazy.
know, I know.
Margarita.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm in Porto, in Spain, a lot. Porto, Portugal, and I'm about to begin the next cohort day, evening, and I told you about Portuguese Institute of Oncology, and it's done. So in Lisbon in June, I'm starting in Lisbon for the staff, for doctors and nurses. That's also a great opportunity. But it will be just the two first series, not the the 2 last ones. And it's great. We are recording, we are translating. it's great.
And Margarita's doing the course in Portuguese.
Yeah.
And I think one of your students is in our current facilitator training.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. There are several who are interested, but for some reason it didn't happen now. But it will. I think some of them will come.
Yeah, we have Susanna now. Susanna. Yep. Anoki.
Hi, I'm Anoki. I'm hiding in a storeroom at a family dinner in Mumbai so that I can take this call.
That's dedication.
I've just completed my level 1 training, and I literally hibernated last week to complete all my CEs, which is why Shane has been bombarded with all of them.
Excellent. Thank you, Anoki. Yeah, I've had a chance to look at a couple of them too. They are very well done.
Thank you.
Yep. Maria. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. A lot of familiar faces. So my name is Maria. I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm in the process of being certified level 1. And yeah, well, what's coming up is London, a refugee summit, and I will introduce CIT together with a person who is already certified. So we will be speaking in a big refugee summit by the end of this month. So that's going to be exciting. And hopefully there will be aid workers signing up for CIT.
Excellent. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Deepika.
Hi, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. My name is Deepika and I'm from Delhi. I'm still in the process of completing some of the assignments, both as a participant of the facilitators training and also to review the assignments submitted by some of the participants. I also wanted to take this opportunity to inform, especially Michael and Jennifer, that two prominent institutes of academic excellence in India have approached me for CIT course. One is called Indian Institute of Management, which is like the Wharton of Management Institute in India. And the second one is Delhi University, has a college called Miranda House. So they both have approached me if, they could also adapt CIT in their course. So quite excited, and I would be officially introducing both Michael and Jennifer. It will be extremely good because IIM is a premier management training institute in Asia. IIM Bangalore, and for them to express interest in offering CIT to some of their students and also in an online learning program is quite it's very significant. And second, a college in Delhi University called Miranda House. It's an all-girls college. We still have all-females colleges in India. Their principal, who has been a mentor to me, who also knows about the work where I was working earlier, UNESCO MGIEP, she reached out to me asking about CIT. So I asked her, how did she saw? She said, I just randomly read about it somewhere on some post. So maybe the social media team is doing good work. Then I said, yes, you've reached out to the right person, ma'am. Yes, so quite excited with these
Very
two.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Wow,
Excellent.
thanks, Deepika. That's amazing.
All right, Rakhi.
Hi everyone, a very happy new year to all of you. I am doing my level 1 facilitators training, though did in person with Jennifer, Michael, but had some issues shifting my residence. So I took a break, and now I will be very soon submitting my assignments, and I stay in Delhi.
Excellent. Thank you, Rakhi.
Fantastic.
Mohammed.
Hey everyone, I'm Mohammed. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and I just completed my level 1 facilitator training. So I'm now a level 1 facilitator, and I just started my first training a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it.
Good.
Fantastic.
Good.
Unfortunately, we were snowed out last night, so I had to cancel.
I heard that a lot. We had somebody from Vancouver on our call last night, and she's like, well, school's canceled, and that's where I was going to do it from, so I'm working on my backup plans. So, yeah.
Good bad.
Yep. Pam.
Hello, I'm Pam Lewis. I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm with Compassionate Houston, and I'm a level 1 facilitator. I've had one course so far at the Jung Center in Houston, and the next one is March the 18th for 10 weeks. So I'm very excited, and I hope to have at least 1 or 2 other facilitators in Houston soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have yours. We have one of yours in our class now, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Yes, and another one who apparently missed the sign up and keeps trying to get in, but it's too late, right?
Yeah, but if they give me your name or his name, I can put them on my next class list.
Okay, I will.
Thank you. Rebecca. No, there she is.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I have painters in my house, and I'm having to use my skills. I have no internet, so I'm on my phone. I hope this helps out. So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a level 2 facilitator. I have the good fortune to be at Life University, which is how I got involved in CIT. Currently just started last night, an online participant class, starting one at Life University with employees. I've meant to cut it off at 20. I didn't, and now I have to find some folding chairs. So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. And we'll be doing 2 intensive classes at Life University on the ground in March, a participant training, and then in July we'll be doing a facilitator intensive. So if anybody's looking for on the ground training over the course of a weekend, it's we don't call them intensive for nothing, so be warned about that, but those will be available.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just have to say this last night, we really had the sort of the surprise honor, and thanks to Michael for a little bit of a heads up. Elaine Karras Miller, who developed the community resilience model, was part of our group last night. So I had to use a few skills during that too.
But it went
I'm
very
sure. I heard you did great. And yeah, Elaine Miller Karras, who started the Trauma Resource Institute and who is the one promoting the community resiliency model, out of which we pulled the resilience zone and grounding, tracking, and resourcing, has been wanting for the last 2 years to take CIT, and we finally figured it out, and she's in our Wednesday evening course now. So that's great.
Yeah, excited about that. Natalie.
Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
I'm good.
So, hi everyone. My name is Natalie Cifuentes. I'm originally from Colombia. Now I'm based in London. I just finished my facilitator level 1.
Yeah. Thank you, Natalie. And Lauren. At least I hope that's Lauren. That's the number I had.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm Lauren Checkenow. I'm a level 1 facilitator located in Atlanta, Georgia.
And Lauren's got she finished up 2 classes, I think, and there's still one ongoing and is working on another one as well in the Atlanta area.
Yes, and I sort of accidentally just started one on Tuesday that I need to message you about.
How do you accidentally start a course? That's a whole story in and of itself.
Yeah, I had been speaking with somebody, and we were looking to do, they work at in healthcare, like a holistic birth center, and so we were looking at doing something as a group session for, their clients and members of their community. And then just out of some shifts last Friday, she's like, I'm wondering if, when we do our grand rounds every month, you could just come and do the compassion program for us as the healthcare workers then. And I was like, that sounds amazing. So we just started on Tuesday. So I'll be doing that monthly with them.
Cool. I apologize. Somebody is trying to call me. And it's on silent, but it rings through my computer as well. Now, Charlie, I saw your better half. Did she hide? Did she run away and hide?
She is, would you believe, she's working on some taxes for us. So she had to scoot out, but she sends her regards to everybody. And again, she's the premier administrator. So she's really lining up all the people and all that for our course in February. So
awesome.
That's where she is.
Thanks. All right. Michael, I don't know if you have an order in which you wanted to share information or not.
No, I'll just give a couple of quick updates. One thing that I'm really excited about is towards the end of the year, I think on our last call, we talked a little bit about research and trying to pull together a group to start thinking about research and how we might want to do it. And then I just kind of got a bug in my bonnet. I think it might have been on one of our every other week calls with the leadership of Compassionate, Charter for Compassion, that we were like, why don't we just start doing it? Like, it's enough sitting around talking about it. Let's just do it. And so I got all excited about doing some research with these 2 cohorts that just launched yesterday and today. And then, of course, I checked in with the people at the Institutional Review Board who let me know that our previous study had expired because it had been over a year since we had gotten it approved and hadn't done anything with it. So luckily for a wonderful guy at Life University who runs the Institutional Review Board, and for those who don't know that process, in order to do a study that relates to human subjects, you have to have it overseen by an institutional review board, because they want to make sure that you're dealing with these with human subjects in an ethical way. And so he worked with me all through the holiday break, and we got a new application approved. And with the incredible help of Marilyn and the folks at the Charter for Compassion, we have now got a control group of about 25 people who are individuals who are interested in CIT, want to take CIT, but haven't yet and aren't enrolled in our 2 January cohorts. And then we've got about, I think we're at somewhere in the 35 range of active folks who are in the January cohorts who have signed the informed consent form and signed and completed the initial measures. And so this version of the study is going to just take self-report questionnaires at this stage, but they're well-validated measures that measure. There aren't a ton of great measures around compassion, so we're doing some things that we've used in previous studies, particularly over at the prison, that deal with things like social, emotional, and physical reports on well-being, anger, depression, anxiety, sense of social support, empathic concern, things of that nature. And so we're going to take measures we're going to take measures at the end of the 10 weeks, both from the control and the active group, and then we're going to do follow-up measures in 6 months. And so we're very excited about that. The preliminary data we got out of the World Youth Conference, where we didn't have a control group, was very exciting because all of the measures moved in the right direction. But of course, without a control group, we have no idea if that was just because the weather got better for everyone, even though people were from all over the world, so that's unlikely. But now we'll have a control group, and if in about 3 months I don't talk about the research anymore, it's probably because the measures didn't show anything good. But hopefully I'll be talking all about the measures, and that'll both help in terms of us promoting the program. Clearly it'll help in that. It'll help us then also make the program better, and then we'll also hopefully push the ideas to help this as a way of pushing research in general in the field of compassion, and all sorts of great things in that regard. So we'll continue to update you guys on where that is. I think I saw Charlie raise his hand. Did you have a question?
I'd just like to make a comment, Michael, segue into the idea of research. I'm actually working with a young family practice researcher at UT Southwestern, and we're developing and have already developed the curriculum based on CIT to institute a course, an elective course for third-year medical students beginning this fall. So maybe something that we'll want to continue to have conversation on, and maybe can collaborate and fold in some of these metrics together along the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the things that, first of all, we can invite him to be part of our IRB. So if he didn't want to go through the whole process himself, we would just have to add the measures that you're going to use and his name to that study, which is relatively easy. So that's one invitation. The second thing is we've also still been on a volunteer basis, kind of been talking to folks. There's a woman who is a graduate of the program who does research at the World Bank, who's very interested in helping us. We have somebody from OP Jindal University who I think was on the last call who's interested. We have a woman from the CDC here in Atlanta, and she has actually agreed to kind of take on as a volunteer, thinking through this whole research program, with the idea being that, number one, we want to eventually hire a research assistant and then a full-time research director as we raise funds to do that. But she's helping coordinate some of that for us in the meantime, and I'll be introducing her more formally in the future. But part of the goal of that role is to do exactly that, Charlie, and others, is to say, hey, we know there's a researcher in Texas who's interested in studying this, and we have somebody in India who's interested in studying this, and we want to make sure people are all collaborating and sharing metrics and stuff like that. Because it gets really interesting, both from the quality of the program as well as the field itself, when we can start to look at things like, for example, when we launch the self-directed learning program, we have metrics for these 2 online cohorts. That's a more traditional face-to-face kind of program. Well, how do those measures differ from what we get out of the self-directed learning program? Are they better? Are they worse? Where can we tweak the program to support it? And Samir's joined us from Pakistan, so I'm going to mute him for a second. And so we, anyway, so that's going to be more to come on that, but that definitely we need to continue bringing more researchers into the fold and continuing to expand on what we're doing.
My better half is standing here if she wants to say it.
Hi, Connolly.
Hey, Connolly.
I'm wearing too many hats today.
All right. Thank you for saying hi, Connolly. We appreciate it.
Anything else on research before? Yeah, Marilyn.
No, it's not on research.
Oh, okay. So if there's no other questions on research, Shane.
Well, I've always got my hand up for too many things, as you know, Michael, but just in one connection with research is that during the time I spent in India prior to Christmas and the holidays, there were 2 doctors, medical doctors, that were interested to take on CIT and conduct more research within their own university in the southeast of India. And it's just about, it's a really interesting connection, just hearing of Charlie's input there as well. So we may be able to connect somehow. And now that we know that research is, the green light has been given, I think it's very exciting to see where that can go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Charlie, that would be a really interesting intercultural study, cross-cultural study too. Exciting.
Yep.
So Marilyn, did you want to share something?
No, I was just going to recommend to Deepika that she talk with Rocky, because one of the last times I was in India, I did a workshop at the Management Institute. And so that group of people who were quite energetic about really working with making a compassionate city move forward, they were all from the Institute. So maybe collect those names and those contacts.
Sure, Marilyn, I will connect with Rocky on this. I will. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The only other couple updates before I turn it back to Jennifer and then to Shane is that I keep talking about this new bios thing where you can log on and put your own bio up and put your own picture up. And so we had some technical issues. I've been busy with this research thing and the whole SDL thing, but it is ready, and I am going to send it out before the end of the day tomorrow. And just to remind those who weren't on the last call or didn't get a chance to review the last call, this will be a place where you can go in and you can put whatever bio you want, including a picture, including links to your own websites and things like that. And then it'll get put into a directory. We're going to replace the existing directory with this new directory, and people will be able to click onto it. And then you can edit it yourself going forward. So if you were with, like for Sue, if you were with the Shambhala Center and then now you're somewhere else, you can update that yourself without waiting on us to do it. And this will allow you to create a little bit more of a robust presence on our website. The plan will be that if I get this out in the next couple of days, that we'll give you guys probably like 2 to 3 weeks to get your data on there, because I don't want to swap out the old system for the new system if there's nothing there. So we'll give you, and this is for facilitators. Facilitators in training will get this opportunity, obviously, when you become certified. But we'll flip that switch at some point, and we'll keep you up to date on when that switch is going to be flipped. I have a sense, if you guys are like me, it'll be like the night before, you'll go like, oh yeah, I finally got to get that done. But we'll give you some time to get that data in there before we flip that. And then the last thing I'll mention, unless people have questions after everyone else has had a chance to talk, is just to remind you that right now, the best thing we have going is the, even though I don't go on it very often, I hate to say, but the facilitator Facebook group, and that's open to facilitators in training and facilitators. And although Facebook has its issues, it's a good way of creating collaboration and connecting with each other. Because I know someone might be doing something, Pam may be doing something in Houston, and then somebody else is doing something in Portugal, Margarita, and then, but there's a lot of overlap. And so, yeah, so just if you have a chance to join that, I'm sure the next question will be, how do I join that? So someone will have to send a link to it. But yeah, that's the best thing to do. And then I'm done for now. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer, and I might say one thing when Shane talks about the our pilot program with Weber.
I was going to turn it over to Shane for his update. So.
There you go. I like it. Pass the buck.
We could keep going. I could say, Lauren, if you want to take this as well, we could go next. This shows the interconnectedness that we all have as well. But it's actually really exciting to see visually where everybody is and showing that CIT is very much international and global right now. I mean, I can say a few things on the pilot education program, but I'm also open to questions as well. It might be more focused, but I know that at least half of the faces right now I've been trying to track down this week or even chatted to. And for example, Marilyn, we've been trying to get 10 minutes for a number of days, but we can see each other here at least for more than 10 minutes. And I've really enjoyed the conversations in the past week I've had with many of you. But essentially what we're trying to do is open CIT in relation to education to as many schools, educational institutes, teachers, professors, doctors, and students, as many as possible within the next, well, a time frame that we're talking around 6 months or so. But we're trying to strategically look at the best way to plug CIT into education and into the educational context. And that's both in the United States, where the majority of this group will be based right now, and also outside the United States. And it's just, I mean, for me, I'm opening doors and conversations with as many people and places as possible. But so far, I haven't received any negativity or any criticism even. It's only open doors and people saying, please bring it on and let's continue it. So really briefly, I spent about 15 days just prior to the holidays and Christmas in India, working with our partners, UNESCO and MGIEP, in 2 different universities, working with faculty, some professors and doctorate students, and also some graduate students, carrying out 2 back-to-back in-person training, CIT. There were three-day trainings, and it was a great experience for me because it was my first in-person training opportunity to reach out to educators, number one, but participants of the 3-day program. And the feedback was so far very, very positive. It was a push to get done in the 3 days, I have to say. So my congratulations to anybody who's done the 3-day intensive course and managed to get through the 10 skills. But it was a really interesting experience. And then we also attended on behalf of CIT the Tech Conference, so UNESCO Tech Conference 2019, which was in the south of India. Our Indian colleagues here will know a lot about that. But it was interesting to see how technology can be blended with emotions, and that was the main topic or theme of the conference. And we had a small input as well. We were moderating a discussion at different points from people who were very, very familiar with technology and maybe looking at CIT from the perspective of fully in-person to online facilitation to potentially going the next level to self-directed learning. So there's lots of nuggets of learning from that from our perspective, and we got a chance to reach out to people in the tech world, but also in the education world and the field of emotions. So where are we at right now? There's quite a lot going on and coming up. So I'd love to know and reaching out to as many of you as possible, if there are schools in your area or educational institutes who you think may be interested and haven't been contacted already from CIT, if you think they might be interested in jumping on our pilot program, which was essentially trying to work with 50 schools and 50 educators in the United States, 50 schools, 50 educators outside of the United States, putting it very broadly. But so we've reached quite a lot. There's new training starting next week in the UK and Europe. In fact, we're working with a partner, and they're called the Kindness Schools Foundation. So we have a group of 30 teachers, roughly 30 teachers signed up already in primary schools and second level education, who will be taking the course together. This is the first solely teacher that I've been involved in anyway, teacher CIT training. And I'm really excited about that. That'll take place starting the 30th of January, and then it'll be a 10-week online course. As Maria talked about, we have people attending and talking about CIT at the Refugee Summit in London, also at the end of this month. And my sort of look would be from the aid, humanitarian, but also education, and how education can challenge some of the issues like migration, refugee, asylum seekers journey and injustices. So there's a double pronged approach there. Myself and Maria are looking at a program looking at that education, aid work and humanitarian work. With people in Mexico right now that are doing some fantastic work, not related to CIT, but interested to engage CIT in potentially in a university course, in a master's course as an elective. So we're talking about how we could link CIT, and Charlie mentioned it as a possibility to get a module or elective in third level education. We have institutes in Colombia. We've CIT facilitators, in fact, on the ground in Colombia that are reaching out to schools and have already done or carried out a number of CIT trainings before Christmas and continue. And we've got different groups or different education centers in Europe and the United States, but we're trying to bring it all together and also look at making it more sustainable over the coming weeks and months ahead. So looking at potential funders to link CIT and education. So I won't bore you with all those contacts and plans, but it really is, it's mushrooming in terms of education being a very broad word, and educators can be formal educators, it can be non-formal educators, it can be in so many different sectors. And even this week, we've got a very positive response from two coaching alliance organizations or sports coaching. They would see themselves as educators as well, and are interested to talk to ourselves in CIT about how CIT could be linked within coaching. But there's some good examples, and I know that Michael might want to talk, and maybe Lauren and also Anya. I've been involved in conversations about how we can literally go into a school, approach the director or the teachers and say, this is what we can offer you, this is what CIT can offer you within your school. And we're exploring different models and different ways we can do that. But it is a very exciting project to be involved in, and I feel very lucky. And I'm just coming off 4 back-to-back CIT meetings from 9 o'clock this morning. So my brain is not functioning on all cylinders, but we had a good first session, which myself, Jennifer, and one other facilitator who's not here now were involved, first of the decade. So it was nice to be involved in that one today. And yeah, going from strength to strength. I'm absolutely open to questions, and there might be some people that can add different things. There's lots that I've missed on my list here. But yeah, we're trying to network it with as many people as possible, but then bring it in a little more tightly to carry out some research, but also make a very strong strategic plan in terms of education over the next 6 months.
Before I open it up for questions to you, Shane, I'll just mention a couple things. One is I just posted a link in the chat, a very nice article that was written by MGIEP about the trainings that Shane did. And you can, please use these articles in your marketing and sharing with people. I know we talked on our last call how Andrea in Medellin has been used the partnership we have with with UNESCO MGIEP to a great effect in terms of her marketing. The 2 things I will add are actually 3 things. The first is that we do have some grant money available that if you're interested, contact Shane. What it is it enables us, if you have a school where they want you to run a CIT course for their faculty or staff, then we can provide funds to cover the training so that you could essentially go into them and say, we'll do it for you for free. And we're doing that under a grant that is we're doing that for pilot purposes. And the idea behind the grant is let's build momentum, let's see what happens. And one of the things that can happen that we're hoping for, and that's really encouraging, is, for example, the second thing I wanted to talk about, which is Lauren and a number of colleagues ran a course. We ran a course for a small private school here in Atlanta for about 18 faculty members, maybe 6-7 months ago. And they absolutely loved it. And then they recommended a second cohort. The second cohort was a little bit smaller, but it included the principal and the dean of academics and the dean of the English department. And so a lot of key figures. They then came back to us, and we had a meeting last Friday, and they said, we have a proposal for integrating CIT into our entire curriculum. And they said, number one, we want every teacher and faculty member to be trained in CIT by the end of next school year, so by May 2021. So we want to put in a staged plan to get that done. We want to have several facilitators on staff, and we would like to they do things in an academy model. So they have a science, technology, engineering, and design academy, a sports sciences academy, and they're thinking about launching a humanities academy. And every one of those has a service component. And so their idea would be that around the 11th grade year, the year before the graduation year, the kids would be in those academies would be required to take CIT. And then in their final year, they would use what they learned in CIT and the whole systems perspective to show how they can take their discipline and apply it to an issue in the world and how to make the world basically a better place through that process. And we then threw out the idea, well, wouldn't it be great if we had an elective for seniors to become facilitators so that when they go to college or out into the world, they have a skill that they can bring to campuses. They loved it. We loved it. We're thinking about piloting with the Humanities Academy. And the idea behind this whole thing would be, this would be a pilot that we would write up as a case study. And then we would have that as a case study to share with other schools to say, this is one way that a US school was able to really embed it into their curriculum. And then in the long term, we'll start to take measures too, so we can begin to see from a research perspective, what is the impacts of this. So I just say that as a way, and Lauren is kind of taking on that project with myself and Shane and Jennifer, and we'll be kind of running with that. So more to come on that as a possible thing. And I think, was that 3 things I said? I don't know. Let's open it up for questions, and I'll think if there's anything else. Any questions for Shane about education or any of us?
I realize I've talked an awful lot, and I don't want to steal any more time, but just to mention, I think it's important as well that our partner, the Kindness Schools Foundation, the director of that center is actually one of our facilitators as well, Ben, and it's just been up and running in the last couple of weeks. So that's an exciting partnership. He's one of the participants with Natalie and Anoki and a number of other people that took part in the World Kindness Summit in India last year. So it's making connections. And lastly, that we're looking at teacher education as well, because I didn't mention that we're at the moment talking to a number of institutes in Europe and also in the United States about how we can plug CIT, how it fits best within teacher training, teacher education. So it's not just for teachers, for students like Michael's talked about in Weber, but also within teacher training colleges, and that's another exciting part of it. Sorry, Renee, you had your hand up.
I was just going to ask, and I don't want to use up the community time, so you can redirect me to I can just email this question. But as new to this, like my question is, how would I find out with where I'm currently living in the Intermountain West, is there someplace on a website or someplace I can see what is already kind of being pollinated and or not, just so I'm not like being redundant or wasting people's time in pursuing things between Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah, where I'm orbiting currently?
Yeah, sorry, Mike, do you want to jump in?
Go ahead, Shane.
No, it's a great question. And just from seeing my private chats now and questions that many are asking even within this group, that's what other people are thinking. So it would be a good idea for us to come up with a map of some kind and show people in real time where we're based right now. So it's a good question, and it's a challenge for me and the team to really get that as strong as we can in the United States, but also across Europe. I mean, we've got 3 or 4 other people from different countries in Europe and Asia, and we've got partners in Africa and Latin America as well.
Great, thank you. That was going to be my follow-up also globally, because I think, Shane, you know from our CRT course that I have connections in working with refugees in Greece and other parts of the world. So I'm really interested in what you guys are doing on that thread, but also not knowing what else might be already going on. And if nothing else, just how to help network.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Renee. If we could combine the efforts of the Charter for Compassion, since we're in these 440 cities, and somehow, people would be able to make those connections. And so I think that's great, maybe a high priority for us. One other thing that Shane and I are working on is to have a course, maybe a taste of CIT for educators, and we're looking for that to happen in May, and it would be online, and we're pretty excited about that. So if any of you have access to schools, or if you know of administrators, teachers, maybe even influential parents who might be interested in those kinds of courses, do let us know.
So, just a quick thing, and then I know Anoki's got her hand up, is that that was the third thing I was going to talk about, which is part of what Shane's going to do in partnership with Maryland and the Charter for Compassion is to build a network of, say, educators who are involved in the work with CIT and host calls like this. And we're going to have to figure out some sort of social media platform for educators to be connected. And then other sectors too, potentially, and again, modeling after the Charter for Compassion. But one of the things is that we have, for now at least, what we have is we have this forum, so hopefully people join on a monthly basis and stay. And if you can't make it for some reason, we record the calls and you can watch those on the website. This, the second thing is the Facebook group for now. And then the third thing is once, as facilitators in training, you'll find out towards the end that there's a form that you fill out when you're about to run a course, just to notify us that it's happening. And then what we try to do is put it on the website. And so at least that's another place to maybe check out and see what might be going on. It's definitely not comprehensive, but again, right now it's just kind of pulling it together in small pieces. Anoki.
Hi, my question is actually for Shane and Michael both, and maybe Deepika can weigh in because this is UNESCO involved. But I spent the last year working with teachers from remote parts of India. But what Shane is saying is to get an entire school involved is really difficult because this is also schools that have 4 or 5 teachers. So we got like through the entire state, we got one teacher across communities, religions, private schools, government schools, and we made a group of 20 people who've actually trained with us on UNESCO's SEL already. And the whole idea is for them to be able to take this back. And I think this will be really interesting to now go take the next step forward and do a 3-day CIT with them. Is that something that is under the scope of what CIT would do for the pilot? Or are you looking at just particular schools that's easier to measure?
No. I think that would be very much, or we're very much in the experimentation stage of what will work, what won't work. And so absolutely. And what we've been, and Shane can answer for himself, but basically we've done this where we have schools like we talked about that are all in. We've had it where schools are just like, we're going to offer this as a volunteer thing for those few that want to take it. And then we've had, and the course that Ben's running through the Kindness Movement is for teachers from various different schools coming together. So we just want to make sure whatever we do, we kind of document it and learn from it so that we can figure out what works.
Okay.
Practically,
Deepika, sorry.
No, sorry for jumping in, but practically,
Yes,
I think there's no reason why we couldn't go ahead, and we'd be quite ready to do that. It's just about finding the time. When we've done that with UNESCO, our partners already. I have a training happening this Sunday with some partners in India to finish off one of the CIT trainings. So there's no reason practically why we couldn't reach out to India. It's just about finding that time, and particularly for teachers that are already on board and have some knowledge, it would be very rich conversations that we could think into.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have something for Deepika, Anoki?
No, actually, maybe I'll take it offline and ask
Okay,
her whether it kind of helps to how to take it forward, basically.
Great, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jennifer. Oh, Anya had her hand up, and then it's back to Jennifer.
Yeah, now suddenly it's very noisy here, so I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, you're fine.
I have some questions. Firstly, I'm going to, I'm in discussion with the school of my children, which is a very diverse school socially and nationally. So what am I saying if they ask, after faculty has taken the courses and they want students to get the courses, how are we dealing with that? Perhaps you can share with all of us also the relation to with C-learning. This would be my first question. The other one is a very organizational one. As you know, I'm giving courses through the German Association for Positive Psychology here in Berlin. And they are having a consent form anyway, but I'm supposed to give the CIT consent form, and we were discussing that it needs to be revised internationally for our international students. Do we have any news from legal here? And last but not least, I wanted to share that in this print magazine, there's a huge article about compassionate integrity training.
No way.
And because it was published in December, I think.
Oh,
People contact me and ask for courses. So far, the fabric course is not so overloaded. I think so far I've got 7 people, because it's always a matter of, it's in Berlin and it's a 3-day intensive, but it's getting there.
Make sure you scan that and send it to us. There's also going to be.
I will.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
in German,
Good.
though. It's in
That's
German,
okay.
obviously, but
You know me. I'm fluent in English.
You get it. Yeah. I'm going to send it to you.
So a couple quick answers. One is no new news from legal. I've been trying to track that down, but have not been successful as of yet, but we will continue to work on that. That's something we have to definitely address, and particularly also with the SDL version. The second thing is that what I find that in my own experience that we can use CIT in the classroom a couple ways. One is for 11th and 12th graders, those 17 and 18-year-olds, it seems to work well just out of the box. If you have a good teacher who understands that age group, they can work with CIT in that age range. Below that, we really kind of recommend C-learning. And so if those teachers, the idea would be some teachers, we know of teachers who are just taking CIT and adapting it for themselves into their lesson plans based on what they've learned in CIT or in facilitator training. But for those who want to really understand a curriculum that they could integrate into the lower grades, then we certainly recommend C-learning as the way to go for that. So, and as you would imagine, they work well together. And one of the things I was going to say is Brendan and I we have a online article that's coming out in the print version of Blue Dot, which is the UNESCO MGIEP publication, and so we're continuing to make sure that they kind of dovetail in a lot of ways, C-learning and CIT.
Wonderful. I'm so sorry, Michael. May I ask another question? Because
Sure.
I'm about to meet the chancellor of this university, just very informally, and I wanted to discuss how he can integrate. How CIT could be integrated into the university business. And Shane mentioned that it might be even possible to integrate it into master's module. Can we learn more about that as well?
Yeah, we can, and we can take that offline for now. But as you know, being a graduate of Life University's master's program, we do offer a lot of master's level courses and undergraduate courses that integrate CIT. So what we would do is we would suggest one of those courses if somebody wanted to do it as a 4-credit semester long course in one of those 2 programs. We also have other universities like OP Jindal University is developing their own course on what they're calling, I think, compassion and democracy or democracy and secular ethics, where they're integrating it. So again, we'll take it offline, but just for everyone's sake, there are things happening, and we'll make sure that people kind of know about them as those opportunities come to life. So thank you. I'm going to turn it at Deepika has she put her hand down, so I'm going to use that as an opportunity to turn it back to Jen.
Okay, and I'm gonna do wrap up. This is the best for me. This is the best kind of call ever because I didn't have to do a whole lot of anything. I'm just gonna do a couple of quick wrap up things. That one is to remind you that our next call, we're trying to do a quarter at a time, but the times are going to change every month because we have folks all over the world, and we want to try to get folks from all over the world without missing 3 straight months. If we go with, if we're always doing it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, when we're always going to miss a certain population. So next month, our call will be February 20th. It's going to be the 3rd Thursday of the month, and it's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern. So at 4 p.m. Eastern, we are looking at 1 p.m. Pacific, and we are looking at really, really early in the morning for Europe. So they probably won't be able to join us at that time. And so we're trying to bounce those back and forth so that we can get as many folks as possible. And then of course they always are recorded, and we will post them on the website so that you can view them afterwards as well. And we we were hoping to kick it off in January, but looks like we're going to bump to February, a monthly CIT alumni call. And so those calls would be once a month, and they would be open to anybody who has taken CIT. And they would be facilitated by some of your colleagues, some level ones who have said, hey, I'm interested in continuing the conversation. And so those will be posted as soon as I can get the time zones, because we have folks from different areas of the world who are willing to host in their own, either in Europe or in Australia or in India. We've got folks that are willing to host those. So I just need to get from them what time they want to host. And that'll be hosted in different time zones so that those folks can participate. And I think that was everything, unless I'm missing something. And I'll point it back to my colleagues and say, folks, am I missing anything?
I think we're good. There's obviously still tons more going on that we can't fit into 1 hour, but we'll keep you posted. Things are progressing with the self-directed learning version of the course. And as you know, there's probably another 50 or 60 facilitators out there who aren't on the call, that you're part of a great network of unbelievable individuals. And I will mention that I don't know that anyone else joined late that's still on, but I do want to mention Samir, who is in Pakistan, and he also works with UNESCO, and he's currently in facilitator training. So we're looking forward to him graduating and offering lots of courses. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, everybody. Any last burning desire to say something in 3 minutes? Marilyn, please.
I just wanted to know where in Pakistan, Samir, you're from.
Islamabad.
Islamabad. Thank you.
I hope that's
wanted
right,
to
Samir.
say something. I just want to say how grateful I am to be part of this community, and I think it's so wonderful. Everyone is terrific.
Thank you, Susan. And then Sue, I think, had her hand raised.
Yeah, I want to know which island Marilyn lives on.
I live on Bainbridge Island.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I've been out there. Thank you, everyone, so much. I'm so happy I got to finally be on a call, and I love it that the times are rotating. It'll make it so much easier.
Fantastic.
We hope. That's the point.
Samir, did you want to say something? Or are you just saying goodbye? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you muted yourself.
You're good. Nope. Click it again, Samir.
Click again.
There you go.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was just saying that thank you very much. And I have some questions, because we are dealing in education in UNESCO in Islamabad, and a lot of initiatives are going on. We have a lot of schools available, and there are universities also who would be really wanted to have benefit from this CIT course. And I will be getting more information from Deepika and Shane, and definitely we will submit some proposal to get this grant from.
Ah, fantastic.
That's awesome.
Thank
you,
Samir.
Samir.
Call me Jane or Shane, anything you want, but do get in touch with me about the education.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Wonderful call. And I look forward to seeing you next month, and some of you hopefully before that.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good weekend.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.